Okay, official. Whoa, wow. I hate those subterfuges.
Yeah, I know. Especially
Don't
when,
take it away from me.
especially when the filmmakers.
Hey, Rotarians, yes? Good morning.
Good morning.
Certainly is a lot lovelier group this morning than usual. Invocation this morning is by Phil Tobin.
Morning, Rotarians.
Good morning.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day and the return of summer. We thank you for this opportunity to get together with good friends. We ask that you give us the wisdom to practice and understand more of the four-way test. And may I give an invocation. Bless this food to our liking and us to your service. In your name we ask it. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Phil. And I had to lead the pledge and four-way test, and they were called away on business, so I will lead you in the pledge and four-way test.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Four-way test of the things we say and do. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Would build goodwill and better friendships?
and fourth.
Would be beneficial to all concerned?
Lead us in song, Dick Pearsall.
I'm still bubbling over from the parade. I love a parade, and I like to be patriotic. So I thought this morning we'd sing, "You're a Grand Old Flag," okay? You're
A grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. And its heart beats true for the red, white, and blue.
Where there's never a post or brand, but when old
Acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag.
You passed the tip.
Dick, one of these days, they're going to learn how to get the second slide up there.
No, I don't want it.
Oh, okay. Our president, or our acting president today, is Gail Royster.
As of 4:30 this morning, how's that?
There we go.
Anyway, what a privilege to be back in front of this awesome club. So, welcome to everyone. I am punting, as you know, so we are going to start with Chris Barker, our secretary, who is going to introduce our guests this morning.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests. First, I'm going to introduce the parents of our scholarship recipients, so if they could please stand when I announce their names. We have John and Shelley Summer joining us today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And Debbie Pilarczyk. And Jackie and Mike Burnett. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
And then we have returning guests this week. We have Lynn Zupp from Hudson Physical Therapy and guest of Liz Ramsey.
Good morning.
And we also have George Schmutz, owner of Printing Concepts and guest of Rich Moorfield.
Good morning,
Thank you for
George.
joining us today.
Thank you, Chris. And we did have a wonderful Memorial Day parade, and Ron's going to give us a little synopsis of that.
First of all, I'd like to thank Craig Tallman for carrying the flag, and Evan and Catherine for carrying the banner, and I'd like to thank Catherine for bringing her two grandchildren, Ailey and Marissa. And I sure wish Reverend Boisel was here because there's quite a story. Her little granddaughter, Marissa, was very bashful, wouldn't talk to anybody, wouldn't do anything, just but hang on to her grandmother. And then Joe Boisel came around, Reverend Boisel, and said that he had a motorcycle, and he took off, and these two little girls, without looking at anybody, followed him. So he is a true shepherd, but I think he needs some looking after. But it was great to have the 4 scholarship winners in the truck, along with the 2 grandchildren who saw every single dog that was watching the parade. There's another dog, there's another dog. So it was a lot of fun, and thanks for everybody for participating. It really was a great day. Thanks, Gail. I don't have any results on the gala. I thought maybe Joe would have a preliminary result because we've got all the bills in now and everything. We've still got a few checks floating in, but all the bills are paid. But I really don't have any number.
All right. Thank you, Ron. Rich, where are you? You want to say anything about the cleanup at Camp Manitowoc?
Talk about punting. 4 of us met down Saturday morning at Camp Manitowoc. Thank you for those 4 that attended. Coach Sogan, Joe Rusnick, who's no longer Rotarian, but he always looks forward to that event, helped out. And myself and Jim Ahern. Thank you, Jimmy, for showing up. We got the job done in about 2.5 hours. So we were small in numbers, but we were mighty in effort. So I think by now we know what we're doing. And by the way, if you ever go down there, not that you just would walk in the park and end up at the pool house, but there is a plaque or a sign that says this pool is maintained by Hudson Rotary. So that's in support of our annual grant. So thank you. Hopefully we can have a few more numbers next year because we had a big lunch and I ate it all.
It doesn't show.
Thank you, Rich. Anyway, and Home and Garden Tour, do you have anything?
No, just coming up 11th and 12th. So
Right, the 11th and 12th of June. So are you passing around anything for?
No, I think we're good.
You're all set. All right, wonderful. James Field, Relay for Life.
Good morning, Rotary. Good morning. Welcome to our students, and I think we'll all agree, anytime we have interaction with our students, it's always amazing. It's really great, so see you guys tonight. The Relay for Life is this Saturday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at Lavelli Field. Ed, you could tell us about the opening of Lavelli. When that
Yeah.
so we're back to your old stomping grounds. Couple things. One is we will have a dunk tank. So if anyone's available during the day to help manage it, basically it's selling tickets and I guess resetting it in case someone gets dunked. Brian, not Brian Welch, Brian Bedford will be there. I know you guys were hoping. As well as Paul Milsatich, and I'm hoping he will wear his, who used to be at the high school, is now at Eastwoods, but just took a job with Principal Aurora High School. So I'm hoping he'll wear his Aurora Greenman shirt in the dunk tank, so we can get a lot of people out there. Also, I'm looking for, there's a Rotary pop-up tent that Jimmy used to bring each year, so I'm wondering if someone has access to that. That would be great to use. Also, we have a raffle. Oh,
I think it's in the basement at Howard Hanna.
okay. Well, I'll give you a call today.
No, I'll give you the key.
Okay. And then also we have. This wasn't for the graduates. Not old enough yet. But we have a raffle and a huge basket of wine, and so we'll be selling tickets there, or you can buy them here if you want. $1 each and 6 for $5. So, and of course, all the money goes to American Cancer Society to fight cancer. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, James. Let's see, Jim Ahern would like me to announce the June greeters, and one of them just walked back in the room. Jeffrey Tong. Greeting in June, and our songmeister, Dick Pearsall. Okay?
What is it?
You are on. Let's see if there's any other announcements. Yes?
Thanks to Liz and Den for doing the May greetering.
And we thank Liz Ramsey and Dan Rich for being greeters in May.
And the
And?
look on Dick Pearsall's face, I gotta remind everybody, you signed up for the month that's announced.
I thought it was June.
It is June.
Here before you know it.
You'll be fine, Dick.
That's a different kind of reminder.
This is one of the most special meetings we have throughout the entire year. So I'm going to turn it over to Dan Williams and Catherine Sine, and we are going to hear from our scholarship winners.
You get that set up? Okay.
We'll get him, Dan.
Good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning, Dan.
We're high tech this year. Catherine's done a PowerPoint. So look at this. Look at this.
So Catherine, you pointed to me.
We're trying to keep up with the students, but it's tough. As many of you know, this is a day that we really look forward to, that we get to hear from both the students that won our scholarship and the teachers that are going to introduce them. We had a great turnout this year. We had, I think, 21 applications for the scholarship. We whittled it down to 9. We interviewed 9 people and ended up with 5 receiving the scholarships. As you remember, the scholarship is a 1-year scholarship for $2,500. So it's a nice, and it's made possible by the gala and the fall fundraisers. So when you do all that work, this is what it's for. Other than that, I think we're really here to hear from the students. So let's get started with that, and Catherine's going to introduce them.
My task is to tell you that this was a hard job to do. We had some really excellent candidates. Even when we interviewed them, it was hard to come down to, I wanted to give every one of them a scholarship. But during the scholarship process, one of the questions we asked them is, what teacher influenced you here at Hudson High School or Hudson School? Because we have had before Answer Elementary. And they always, I don't think they realize that that's going to come back to this meeting, but I then go and ask those teachers to come and introduce them. So for the first one, Mr. Shu is the first one. Would you please come up and introduce your candidate? And he is a high school math teacher. Would you please tell a little bit about yourself too?
Sure.
Thank you.
Good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning.
Hey, thanks for the great breakfast. It's becoming an annual event. I look forward to seeing all of you. I got cornered by about 5 of you asking or making sure that I wasn't going to tell the same story this year, so I promise I won't do that. So, but thank you. I am a math teacher at Hudson High School, and I'm honored today to introduce Sydney Pilarczyk as a Rotary Scholarship winner. I could list the numerous accolades that Sydney has achieved in her 4 years at Hudson High School, but instead I decided to do kind of what I always do. I like to ask their peers what makes her so unique, and here's what some of them said. Now, some of them wanted me to embarrass Sydney by revealing her nickname that was given to her after spring break. But I'm not going to tell you that her friends now affectionately call her Squidward. Nor will I tell you that she is sometimes known as a spunky character. What I will tell you is that everyone mentioned what a great friend that Sydney is. As part of our service learning class, Sydney spent hours connecting with the regulars who would come in for a meal at the local soup kitchen. Many of these people were homeless or on probation, and then they were able to find comfort in a young lady who was willing to sit down and spend time with them. And as promised, I do have a story. I like to always find a story that kind of captures the heart of the student that I'm presenting. And this year's story is called The Safe. And also, one of the main characters of the story is a mathematician, so I'm really excited about this particular one. So once upon a time, a greedy rich man hired a great mathematician. The rich man wanted the mathematician to find the best way for him to make the greatest profit in everything he did. The rich man was building a huge safe, and his greatest dream was to fill it with gold and jewels. The mathematician was shut away for months in his study before finally believing he had found the solution. One night he appeared at the rich man's house with a big smile on his face. "I found it," he said. "My calculations are perfect." The rich man was going on a long journey the next day, and he didn't have time to listen. He promised the mathematician that he would pay him double his wages if he would take charge of his business while he was away and put the new formulas into practice. Excited by his new discovery, the mathematician was delighted to accept. When the rich man returned, months later, he found that all of his possessions had gone. Furious, he went to ask for an explanation from the mathematician. The mathematician calmly told him what he had done. He had given everything away to people. The rich man couldn't believe it, but the mathematician explained it further. "For months I analyzed how a rich man could gain the maximum benefit. But what I could do was always limited. There's a limit to how much one man can do by himself. Then I understood the key was that many people could help us to achieve the aim. So the conclusion was that helping others was the best way to get more and more people to benefit us." Well, disappointed and furious, the greedy man stormed off, desperate at having lost everything to the harebrained schemes of a madman. However, while he was walking away dejectedly, several neighbors ran over, worried about him. All of them had been helped when the mathematician shared out the rich man's fortune. They felt so grateful to him that they offered him the hospitality of their houses and anything such a special man might need. The neighbors even argued over who would get to help him. Over the next few days, he saw the full results of what the mathematician had calculated. Wherever he went, he was received with great honor, and everyone was willing to help him in whatever way he could. He realized that his not having anything had given him much, much more. In this way, he managed to quickly set up flourishing businesses, but this time he followed the brilliant mathematician's advice. No longer did he keep his riches in a safe or anything like it. Instead, he shared out his fortune among 100 friends whose hearts he had converted into the safest, most grateful, and fruitful of safes. So I truly believe that everything we give to others will sooner or later return to us, whether or not it be in a form that we expect. When I look around this room, I see an organization that gives back by investing in our young people. I see young people like Sydney, in turn giving back to those in need. Serving others indeed builds people up who may not be able to do it for themselves. In short, Sydney makes those around her better. I have no doubt she will continue to serve with excellence in the next phase of her life at The Ohio State University. Congratulations, Sydney.
Hello, Sydney.
I'm Sydney, or Squid, whatever you want to call me. I would just like to start off by saying how thankful I am for this scholarship. It means so much to me. I'm so thankful and honored to receive it from such a great group like the Rotary, whose commitment to community service is something I really admire and hope that I could be a part of in the future. Like Mr. Shu said, in the future I'm going to Ohio State University, and this year, during my involvement with service learning, the wonderful Ms. Banner, I've had some great opportunities to work with kids at a Head Start preschool and people at the local, or the Akron soup kitchen, and that community service I've been a part of has really inspired me to really want to be able to work with people every day in my job and help people with something I'm so passionate about. So I'm studying biology, and I'm going to also continue to study Spanish, and it is my long-term goal to be able to work in the medical field and help people, hopefully kids, I hope so, we'll see. And also, one of my lifelong dreams would be to take advantage of Ohio State's great travel abroad programs and travel the world and kind of step outside my comfort zone of Hudson, Ohio, the Hudson bubble, I guess they say. And so yeah, I just thank you so much for this. It really means a lot, and I'm excited to come back and share with all of you my experiences at Ohio State. So go Bucks!
As you can see, we kind of have some of the same teachers over and over again, like Mr. Shu was here last year. Even with all the candidates that we talked to, some of the names come over around, and just like the next one, Lonnie Banner is here to introduce the next recipient. And then she also is going to come back and introduce another one. Her name came up a lot. They love her as much as we do.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Lonnie.
So happy to see you. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lonnie. I've been leading the Service Learning Program for the last 13 years. And I'm here to introduce Allie Evans right now. And when I think about Allie, she gets it. She exudes maturity and wisdom beyond her years. And she gets that service is not about her, it's about sharing her time with others. And some of my favorite memories of her were when she was working at Urban Vision, which is this inner city after-school program for immigrants that's faith-based. And she was spending some time organizing their library or even helping out with basketball games. Or when she was at the Alzheimer's Association Gala and she had to auction off this puppy and didn't want to let it go. But it was for a good cause, it was for Alzheimer's research. So I think about her calling bingo at Gardens of the Western Reserve on Monday or Wednesday evening. And I also think about her working at a recycling plant in Appalachia. Allie is always one to give of herself. And she also notices people who are often forgotten. Allie's a committed environmentalist, and one day she put together this basket for AP environmental teacher Chris Thaxton because she knew Chris was having a hard day. And it was this take care of yourself basket. And she and another peer, Kennedy Bell, put together this huge pasta dinner for the police officers in Stowe. And they were so surprised. We got this letter at school the next day, or in the next couple of days, that was like, thank you. We never expected somebody from a different community to be appreciative of what we do here in Stowe. And she also makes me smile every day, specifically when she makes fun of Mr. Cosman. You've met Mr. Cosman. He sort of looks like Professor Snape. He's sitting in the back of the room sometimes with me. And also she sends me pictures of her pet fish, who is named James Pond, sort of like James Bond. I thought that was really funny. But again, I feel like Allie, she's a critical thinker. She's a compassionate listener. And I'm a better person because of you. And I love you, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm thrilled that you're going to Ohio University. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Allie Evans.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Allie.
I have both my speech and senior English teachers in front of me right now, so the pressure's on. I'm very thankful and really honored to receive this scholarship. And next year, I'm attending Ohio University, and I'm going to be in the Honors Tutorial College studying sociology and a minor in Spanish. And I'm really excited to attend the Ohio University because this Honors Tutorial College will give me the experience to work one-on-one with a professor, which is something that not every student has the opportunity to do. And I'm really looking forward to that, just because even in my experiences at Hudson High School, those relationships that I've had with my teachers have been like my fondest memories and something I'm going to carry on. So I really am honored, as I said, to receive this scholarship. I really like the whole mission of the Rotary Club with community service. It's something I'm really passionate about, and I hope to continue doing for the rest of my life. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Aren't they awesome? Our third teacher is Miss Christine Rady. Rady, is that pronounced right? And she is the high school English teacher. So the pressure really is. I didn't know the speech and English teacher was here.
Morning.
I am the rookie here this morning. I've never spoken in front of Rotary before. Thank you, and thanks to Haley. Haley and I have a history of 6 years, and I've actually never had her in a high school class. She was in my 7th grade language arts class. She was also in the last class I had at the middle school before I came to the high school. And they gave me a wonderful party when I left, kind of organized by Haley, I think. And she gave me, or the students gave me, a Chicago Cubs jersey because they know how much I love the Cubs. And every time I wear it, I think of her. And my first year at the high school, I felt kind of lost, as most people do, first year at the high school, literally and figuratively. And when Haley and her group showed up, I felt like I had old friends again. She and I have kept in contact with long talks after school. And I've missed seeing her shining face every day. She actually spent the last couple years more at Kent State than here. One day in our 7th grade language arts class, she walked in and gave me a purple wristband. Lots of wristbands going around at the time. And I thought maybe it was because we were the purple community at that time, but it wasn't. She said that she'd been at a seminar and she'd gotten this purple band and we were supposed to wear it. She gave them to all the teachers as a reminder not to complain, which was a really good idea, especially for teachers, especially this time of year. I think of that band a lot, and students too. And it was a really wonderful metaphor and a lovely way to remember Haley. She's always put things in perspective for me, and she's always looking for that balance in life. Through the years, I've watched her and talked to her as she's struggled with an overloaded schedule. She's worked her tail off. She tried to break through the glass ceiling of the high school baseball team. She figured out how to lead a squad of freshman band members. I've watched her question the meaning of life and of death. She searched for grace, but I don't see her complain. It's not her nature. It is her nature to lead. She's a model for her peers on how to set goals and work for them. It's her nature to make the world better, comforting those who need it, teaching young ones in the summer, volunteering her time. It's her nature to accept challenges, working to become the best trumpeter in the band, taking college prep classes for the last 2 years, taking many AP classes. And it's her nature to set goals. She's considering a focus in adolescent psychology at Kent State, and she's hoping to change young ones' lives as a result. And just recently, she made a few changes to that too. And as she moves on to university life at Kent State, she will continue to set goals. She will work through those struggles of challenging academics, and she will succeed because it's her nature. Haley.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Haley.
Thank you to Mrs. Rady for that amazing speech. I really appreciate this scholarship. It's going to help me achieve many of my goals at Kent State. As Mrs. Rady said, there are a few modifications to my plan. I will actually be part of the ROTC at Kent State, the Army ROTC, and in the fall I will be enlisting in the National Guard. So my ultimate goal is to become an Army psychiatrist and help soldiers at VA hospitals.
Wow.
I am going to Kent State with a focus in chemistry, pre-medicine with a focus in chemistry. When I arrive at Kent, I will be a junior. I've taken so many credit hours. Thank you. So complete my undergrad in 2 years, and my goal for medical school is Columbia in New York City. It's a lofty goal, but it's a great school for psychiatry. And I want to become an Army officer, so those are my goals for the future. I want to keep volunteering, I want to serve this country, I want to serve others. I really appreciate the goals of the Rotary and all the service that they give and the scholarships that they give to us and the opportunities that they give to us. So thank you.
And I don't have to introduce the next person again, Bonnie.
Hi,
Hi again, everyone. So I'm also going to be introducing the lovely Ashley Goff today. And when I think of Ashley, you are a light of positivity and humor, and you're always making me laugh. But she does this for others too. And I've got a couple of memories I'd like to share with you about her bringing light to other people. For first semester, she worked down at Leggett Elementary, which is an inner city school, and she worked with fifth graders, and she was teaching them double-digit mathematics, double-digit multiplication. Now, I'm an English teacher, so that will absolutely make no sense in my brain whatsoever. However, Ashley's a math girl, and I love that about her, and she had these kids so excited about math and learning. And actually, her teacher told me when I came to see her again that she's actually going to be using that lesson again next year. So you helped make that teacher's life better because you had such a dynamic lesson. She brought light to her hospice patient, Jean. She would visit with Jean every single week over at Brentwood. And what she would do is she threw her a St. Patrick's Day party, and I got to be a part of it. She made homemade shamrock shakes. We got to listen to Irish music. Her site partner brought in soda bread, and we celebrated all things Irish for a morning because it's something that Jean had always wanted to do. And Jean is so funny because you can tell how much she loves Ashley and you being there, but then she also gives her funny advice like, hey Ashley, I hope you hit big the next time you go to Las Vegas. So I hope you hit big the next time you go to Las Vegas. Also, Ashley is a competitive jump roper, and her friend asked her to prom by getting the whole class to jump rope together to honor her jump roping skills. And another thing I appreciate about her is her legitimate friend, not friend, but her legitimate friend Will, we harass her about her taste in music. So we're moving her beyond Taylor Swift, even though Taylor Swift is awesome, to some other forms of music. But in the end, when I think about you as a light, you gave 265 hours of community service this year. You exude strength and positivity, and you make me smile whenever you walk in the room. So I'm so grateful that you've been a part of my life and a part of service learning. So I know you're going to do great things, Ashley. And here is Ashley Goff.
Good morning. Well, as Miss Banner said, I'm Ashley. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be here this morning and for the scholarship. Thank you so much. Next year, I will be attending Miami University to study finance with the ultimate... Eventually, I'd like to become a financial analyst because my brother kind of does something similar to that, and I always go into the office with him and watch what he does, and I think it's so interesting. But also, more importantly, I'd like to continue volunteering because Miss Banner's kind of given me so many opportunities to volunteer this year, whether it's with little kids or the elderly, and I don't know, I love it. I love the people. But I don't know. When people ask me why I'm going to Miami, I always get really nervous because the story of when I visited there wasn't exactly great. My sister and I, we roll up to all these red buildings everywhere, red brick buildings, and we could not find where the tour was supposed to start. And unfortunately, it was over winter break, so everyone's gone. And so we're driving around and eventually walking around, calling our friend who's back in Hudson, who attends Miami, trying to direct us there. And I don't know, all the while we accidentally got a ticket for parking in a teacher-only lot. I don't know, it just felt right. So hopefully by the next time we get to come back and speak with you, I will have found my way around campus, parked in the right lots. Thank you again.
We won't have a car, don't worry.
Mrs. Banner said you make her smile. Every time I look at you, I smile. Every time I look at that picture, I smile. Yeah. And the last recipient is going to be introduced by Mrs. Dunker. She is a high school English teacher who's sat here judging everybody's little talks, I think. Yeah. Mrs. Dunker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You make me feel as though I'm at home because my own family says, "Oh no, Nancy's here. Watch what you say." And I did marry the right man because he recently bought me a necklace that says, "I'm silently correcting your grammar." So, we are, it seems, all separated by 6 degrees, as in Haley Summers' mom was in one of my English classes. I was Joe Shue's 10th grade English teacher. And this is when you say, "Oh, you look so young."
Oh, you look so young.
It's really spontaneous. I always say, or frequently say to my students, if I were to wish you anything, it would be that you could enjoy that which you earn your living as much as I enjoy being in the classroom. The thing I will miss the most, I'm retiring this year, will be the first day of school, because it's all full of possibilities. Everyone starts with an A+. Everything is fresh and new, even though I do confess that the chalk wreath that is on my board is really last year's wreath that I recycled because I was too tired to draw another one. But I have the honor of introducing Brendan Burdett. And one of the luxuries that I also have is I teach advanced placement language and composition. And my normal comment is that it kicks my butt. I have never taken an undergraduate English class that is as rigorous as this writing class, and I have the arthritis in my left hand to prove that. Because the only way to teach writing is to do this one-on-one stuff, and to sit with a student, to look into his eyes and figure out why he or she is not getting it. And I have to admit that there were very few times when Brendan did not get it. So these letters of recommendation that I write, willfully and with great regard during the summer, are my way of saying thank you. Thank you for putting up with me. I would not have taken me if I were you at this age. My work ethic was not that defined. And I have to also say that the people I inherit are a result of the elementary school teachers, the middle school teachers. Chris Rady and I met as she was advocating attendance at the Northeastern Ohio Writing Project at Kent. And to this day, I still say when I grow up, which is not going to happen, that I would like to be Chris Rady because she is one of my role models. And I write these letters really out of love, and Brendan's letter just about wrote itself. And as I started his letter, I said, where do I begin? There are so many positive things that I must say about him. So as a true writing teacher, I tell my audience, I will begin chronologically. And he appeared in my room with such a great set of skills, and he defined himself early on. And his collection folder, which is a compilation of those things that he labored over during his junior year, really say everything about him as a writer, and he is so much more than just a writer. For example, they were supposed to, in 40 minutes, analyze the rhetoric of Rosa Parks' excerpt from A Long Way to Go. And his writing was so nuanced, everything from following the change of point of view from the us versus them mentality of segregation to the I of her being a primary source during the fight for equal rights, to warning all of us that we must be aware and we must be on guard, we must be diligent. Because anytime someone is discriminated against because of appearance or gender or belief, our democracy, which we want to wake up to every morning, is at risk. And as you all know, as Rotarians and as parents, as teachers, education is the first safeguard to that democracy, which so many people take for granted. And I do not mean that in a cliche manner at all. But he wrote that nuanced rhetorical analysis, first quarter in 40 minutes, and that was just the beginning. Brendan doesn't settle for good enough. It has to be his best, and it's his genuine best with a little dash of mischief folded in. For example, his cadre of conspirators in my 9th grade class distinguished themselves as the board people. They always sat underneath one of my bulletin board and looked like they were conspiring to do something. And I could name names, but I won't. Another thing is Brendan is excellent at looking at people and figuring out what they need. I am, for some reason, obsessed with recycling at the high school. And as people know, and one of my addictions is making the locker clean out earth-friendly. I love when Chuck Schilling comes up and says, the custodians didn't have to take one bag of recycling to the recycle bins, your kids did it all. And every month an athletic team is supposed to recycle. Yeah, right. We could talk. And sometimes the only person showing up from the basketball team was Brendan. He didn't care about the negative peer pressure. He didn't care about the fact that he couldn't coerce his fellow athletes into showing up. He showed up. Right? And the same resilience of character was in place when he was in my speech class. Unfortunately, he was among what I called a testosterone posse of senior football players who thought they were a legend in their own minds. Oh yeah, it was a good year. And he was a junior at that time, and he still volunteered within the first 2 to 3 speakers. And what I loved was his speeches were so genuine, yet so sophisticated and so well polished, that I would see those supposedly self-contained males, I would see their heads dip into their note cards, swear quietly under their breath. Because they knew they had to go back and rearrange those damn speeches. Because they couldn't let that rather tall whippersnapper, take all the accolades, which he did. They could never touch him. So he is a complete package. He's a scholar, he's an athlete, he's a gentleman, and as I said, God love him for that sense of humor. And I know I will miss him, and he's one of the tallest people that knows how to hug a short person without getting her lipstick on his shirt, which if you're short. If you see eye to eye with me, you know what I'm talking about. So even though it is my last year, and I have been here at Mr. Ahern's request for Rotary Speech Contest, this is the first time anyone has ever chosen me to speak here. And I just want to say once again that those elementary school teachers, those middle school teachers, those people who teach 9th and 10th grade, who don't receive an invitation to speak, and those parents that send us such wonderful individuals, those are the people that also should be here, standing behind me, behind Brendan, Haley, Sydney, Ashley, is anybody left out? Allie, all right, and standing behind Allie, because those people are the people that got these individuals here. I was just privileged enough to work with them as they were polishing their skills. So I would like to introduce this tall drink of water, Brendan Burdett.
Jim, you should have taken a picture of that.
Yeah. No lipstick.
I really hope my hug was satisfactory.
He's so shy.
The bar's been set pretty high. They say the best go last, so I'm not sure why I'm here. But I'll try. So, like Ms. Dunker said, my name is Brendan Burdett. I'm a graduating senior at Hudson High School with these lovely ladies. I'd really like to thank the Rotary Club for choosing me. All of the 9 interviewees could very well be up here, so being one of the 5 is truly an honoring experience. Next year, I will be attending Ohio State University with Sydney. I will be majoring in accounting, and I will be in the Honors College. I also want to pursue Spanish. I believe that the people who surround you really help influence how you are as a person, your characteristics, and I feel that in this room, I'm surrounded by some of the best people in the community. Once again, I'd like to thank the Rotary Club for helping me out here. Yeah, I hope to make you all proud. Go Bucks.
I'm somewhat intimidated to come up after that group of students and teachers. You can see that we're putting up some of the statistics of the Hudson school system, but I think you've seen this morning the best of the best. We really had a hard time deciding on the 5 finalists, and you can see that I think we did a good job. We look forward to them coming back after their first semester. We'll see you again in December at a meeting, and hopefully there won't be too many parking tickets from Miami, and you'll find your way around campus. But one of the statistics that jumps out at me is that 97% of our students at the high school go on to higher education. And you can see the example of these 5, just what we have. And one of the things that we focus on in making the selection is service. Because of course our motto is service above self. And you reflect how many of the kids talked about their focus on service. And what that has to say for the future of our country is awesome. So I hope you enjoyed seeing our scholarship winners. They have a big day today because they graduate tonight. So I hope you have a great graduation. And thank you very much for coming. And we look forward to seeing you in December. Thank you. Picture? Yeah, after we're done, if all the scholarship winners would come up and we'll get a picture for publicity.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Catherine. And thank you, students. We are so proud of all of you. I think we ought to give them all one big round. We are on cable TV, and that would not be possible if we didn't have some Rotarians who get here at 6:15, 6:30 in the morning to set up all of this equipment. So we would just like to recognize Ron Barnhouse, Tom Page, Larry Santon, Jeff Tong, Tom Tobin, and James Field back there on the camera. We appreciate you so very much. And we end our meetings with a drawing for Rotabuck unless there are any other announcements. All right. Yes. Dexter has an announcement. Come forward, please.
We have one announcement. The golf outing, which we did last year, what we decided to do is to coordinate that with some other golf outings that are going on. And there's one in particular that's going on. It's the Micah 6-8 golf outing. I don't know if you guys know what Micah 6-8 is, but at Christ Community Chapel, we give away a lot of money to different organizations. So I looked at a social event, which I'm the chair of, and said, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerns? And we've had Rahab Ministries, we've had South Street Ministries here talking with us about how we can help their organizations, and that's what this golf outing does. So if you play golf and you'd like to be a part of the Rotary Golf Outing this year, it's going to be connected with the Christ Community Chapel Michael 6-8 golf outing. All of the money that you spend on the golf outing, including the dinner, is tax deductible. Because all of the information, all of the golf, all of the dinner, it's all donated. The cost of that is all donated. So everything you donate is tax deductible. So I'm going to hand out these today, and hopefully you guys can get back to me and tell me whether or not you'd like to participate.
What's the date? When is it? What's the date?
The date is August 3rd at Shotgun Start. Okay.
Thank you, Dexter. Okay, I let the last but not least scholarship winner pull the ticket. Brendan, would you read the last 4 digits, please?
4344.
4344.
All right.
$14 payout. The jackpot is $477. Oh! Okay, I can give you the payout. And because you are a guest, I'm so sorry, you cannot draw for the $477. Thank you all very much. See you next week.